No Man's Land Trash Beast. This is the first trash beast Rudo ever ran into after he got thrown into the pit. This one comes from No Man's Land, which is why Injin said it's special. But it's not really just one. This guy actually has a whole family hunting with him. And who are they hunting? Well, humans. You see, trash beasts, or aberrant trash beasts, are born from something called thought. These are emotions and feelings that pile up on the ground. After a while, those thoughts change into energy and create strange phenomena. Trash beasts are one example. Since they're made from garbage tossed down from the sphere, they usually look like walking piles of junk. Their form depends on the type of thought they came from, but they all share one thing. They're a nightmare to deal with. Even if you cut them up, they won't quietly sleep for eternity because their core is made of pure thought. So no, the DIY 3D maneuver gear you have stocked in your basement won't do a thing, unless you awaken it as your vital instrument. Some rare trash beasts even have vital instruments for a core, but more on those later. Most trash beasts stick to the dump zones or polluted dump sites around the towns, but there are instances where they break into the towns. That's why cleaners exist. They have givers with special weapons called vital instruments that can handle these monsters. By the way, No Man's Land is an off-limits place. They're some of the worst, most dangerous spots on the ground. So far, 6 forbidden zones have been found. Each one has the scariest trash beasts around. The ones from No Man's Land are part of that group. Their bodies look like dark piles of trash, and their faces are something you do not wish to see at all. They've got tons of sharp teeth and horn-like things on their heads, and each one has a different design. These monsters can smash around and shoot trash everywhere, hitting a bunch of targets at once. Even without eyes, their hearing and senses are top-notch. When Rudo slipped down a trash hill, they stopped chasing him because they lost track of him. But the second he puked and coughed up red matter, they were right back on him. Later, when Rudo got loud with Injin, Injin snapped and told him to shut up. It turns out that Injin had been talking quietly on purpose. After all, these trash beasts don't usually react to human voices, but these ones were special. And once they heard Rudo and Injin shouting, they locked on again. In the end though, Injin wiped them all out with his Unbreaker. Box Cutter Trash Beast. This is the first trash beast that has a vital instrument as its core instead of just thought. Just by looking at it, you can tell this thing is a real beast. Unlike the trash beasts Rudo met before, the box cutter actually has visible eyes. It also has huge blades on its head and chin, big enough to send any weak giver straight to the graveyard. The moment Rio sees it, she knows right away, this guy is wicked. The box cutter was a tough fight even for Rio. It can let out a loud roar that does imaginary damage. Plus, it has trash-made tentacle hairs that can slice targets apart and hit them with flying garbage. The giant box cutter blades on its face are sharp too. Even when Rio cuts this trash beast in half, no matter how many times she hits it with the Ripper, it still won't disappear. This was the first time a vital instrument didn't work on a trash beast. The box cutter just kept moving, even after taking a ton of damage. Now, as you know, a trash beast's weak spots are like those of a human or any other living thing. Once they get hit by a vital instrument at the right spot, they're supposed to go down. So why does the box cutter survive? While fighting it, Rio notices something glowing inside its body. That glow turns out to be the box cutter's real core and a weak spot. Once Rio destroys it, she's able to take the trash beast down. Turns out, that core is a broken box cutter. It's the thing that woke this monster up and replaced its usual core with a vital instrument. This is all part of Zodil's experiment. The box cutter gave him the data he needed to make his own failed Watchman series. It helped him create the imitation trash beast, a monster that can fly up to the border. But before we get to that triple S class monster, before the box cutter showed up, Rio and the squad actually ran into 2 smaller monsters first. Gazelle. These absolute C-class trash beasts showed up during Rio and the squad's first mission with Rudo. Since Rudo wasn't an official cleaner back then, his job was to just watch Rio and the supporters do their cleanup work. Well, most of the time. The first trash beasts they ran into were a bunch of antelope-looking monsters that, you guessed it, looked like gazelles. They moved in herds, and there were so many of them that beginner Rudo ended up reacting just like you'd expect. Lucky for him, these gazelles were a lot more docile than the giant ones he faced in the No Man's Land. But before experienced cleaners, even the supporters, the gazelles were no big deal. They're really just the bait, weak sacrificial pawns meant to act as the front lines. Not like they're smart enough to plan anything anyway. Bulls. Right after the gazelles showed up, a meaner herd of bull-looking trash beasts charged in, and these guys were here to throw hands. Unlike the gazelles, the bulls were more violent and ready to fight head-on. They moved in after the gazelles, then rushed straight at the enemy without a second thought, but their defense stats are pretty weak. A sharp vital instrument, like Rio's the Ripper, could slice right through their heads like it was nothing. The same thing happened to the gazelles. Later on, Rudo ran into a bull that got a little too close. Good thing Gris showed up just in time and crushed its skull with his crazy grip. Then he flung the bull into the air, sending it flying straight to Rio. who was ready to wipe it out in a second. The bulls also seemed to have a bit of a hunting instinct. One time, a bull was lying on the ground trying to blend in with the trash. Its eyes got all googly for a second before it tripped Folo. With Folo stuck on the ground, the bull popped out, ready to finish him off. But Rudo jumped in just in time and blocked the attack. He used 3R to turn a broken fence into a vital instrument. It wasn't perfect since Rudo still didn't know how to use his powers right back then, but it was enough to buy time for Rio to take the Trash Beast down. Defective Watchman Trash Beast. As the name suggests, this monster was born from Zodil's failed experiments in order to make his own Watchman series. This thing is massive. It's easily the biggest trash beast in the series, the size of an entire town. Inside it are vast rooms where the cleaners and raiders fought it out. We're talking Rio against Noirde, Zonka fighting Jabber, and more. The Defective Watchman's goal was to reach the border. For Zodil, this was all one big experiment to see who would survive and who wouldn't. Plus, he wanted to find out what really happens if you cross the border. Most people believe you straight up die once you do. C. Zodil dreams of taking down the sphere. To reach that goal, he's done countless experiments trying to copy the Watchman series, hoping to wear both the originals and his own creations, but all of them failed. So, Zodil grabbed a piece of his failed Watchman vital instrument and used it as a core. He added more vital instruments as offerings and created a new monster, the Imitation Trash Beast. One of those offerings was the Watchman boots from Amo. Another was a protection-type vital instrument. There were 4 vital instruments in total, and Zodil thought this would let the beast cross the border without breaking apart. Now, even though this giant trash beast has wings, they're just for cool looks. It can't really fly on its own. To reach the border, it needs the winds of the trash storm, which only show up every 6 years to push it into the air. You might think a monster this huge would be leaking toxic waste everywhere. Nope, because it was made from vital instruments, the thought that shaped it gave it a special body. The cleaners and raiders could move and breathe inside it without gas masks. Just like with the box cutter fight, the only way to kill this beast is to destroy its core. Rudo went for it with his nail gun and powered up nail cannon, but Bundus and his hands made that nearly impossible. Bundus kept switching up his hands, fought the cleaners all by himself, and blocked every shot at the core. In the end, Zodil decided to ditch the trash beast. He got what he wanted anyway, like data on how to fly it, the raider's strengths and weaknesses, and how the chokers worked. The cleaners cleaned it up afterward, and everyone made it out alive. The question is this Defective Watchman series the strongest one on this list? Or is there still one more trash beast that deserves to be called the ultimate Trashborn? While you're thinking about it, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you stick around until the end and hit that like and subscribe button. Alright, let's keep going. Leopard. These leopard-like trash beasts showed up when Rudo and the squad were playing a game of tag with Kuro, the information broker. They ran into a huge herd of trash beasts, hundreds, maybe even thousands, that looked like leopards. The moment they saw Rudo and his squad's car, they basically thought, hey, let's chase that car. For no reason at all. It all started with one leopard. Then that one called in its whole family, and probably the neighbors too, to join the chase. They were so fast that Rudo thought they would catch up in no time. To deal with them, Injin, Rudo, and Rio had to jump on top of the truck. But even then, the leopards caught up and started swarming the vehicle. As for defense, they're pretty weak. Injin's Unbreaker smacked them away easily, and Rio's the Ripper could stab them with no problem. Their real strength is their speed and massive numbers. They're not smart either. When Rudo pulled his trap card move by using 3R on an old pin Rimlin gave him, the leopard stepped right onto it without thinking. And they paid the price. Rudo squeezed out the last bit of ink from the pin and turned it into spikes. What's strange is that when a few leopards went after Kuro, he just waved them off, saying he's not a giver, so they better back off. No matter how many the cleaners took out, it didn't seem like the leopards' numbers dropped at all. They even trampled over Rudo when he fell off the vehicle. Later, they all got sucked into Katoni's manhole and went after both the cleaners and the raiders. But that actually gave Rudo the chance to ride on one of the leopards so he could catch up with Injin and the rest. A bunch of them got wiped out when Rudo used the pin to make a smiling titan version of Rimlin and destroyed the tunnel. But with how many there were, it's safe to say they probably aren't extinct yet. Scorpions and Pinta. These giant scorpions are the trash beasts Team Akuta fought while heading to meet the Lady of Pinta, Amo Inpool. Just so you know, Pinta is also called the Desert No Man's Land, one of the 6 no man lands in the ground. Which means that these scorpions were no joke. There were 6 of them, each bigger than a human. They were actually the first trash beast Team Akuta ran into in that place. They had thick shells, a huge size, and had the same attack patterns as real scorpions. They attacked with big, sharp pincers and strong jaws. They could also swing their tails or stab with their stingers, which might be super poisonous. They acted like wild beasts, and while their defense was way better than the leopards, Rio's the Ripper could still cut them just fine. When provoked, the scorpions attacked without holding back. They even forced Zonka to play defense for a few seconds. If they couldn't win in a one-on-one fight, they would gang up on one target instead. But even though they fought hard, they couldn't handle the cleaners' teamwork. In the end, Ryo, Zonka, and Injin gave them a good beating, and Rudo wrapped things up with the 3R keyboard. He literally typed a middle finger curse, hit enter, and the last Scorpion's HP dropped straight to 0. Reindeer. This mid-class huge trash beast shows up in the north ward of the ground. Just like the name says, it looks a lot like a reindeer, if reindeers were horror antagonists. This trash beast has big sharp antlers that it uses to charge at its targets. Besides that, the reindeer can slam its thick skeleton into enemies, which also helps it get its antlers close enough to attack. It's worth noting that when Zonka faced it, the antlers were so huge that his lovely assist staff could barely block the hit. Even though normal weapons can't really break them, the antlers aren't super thick either. Zonka used the force from blocking the first attack to launch himself into the air. While doing that, he broke the reindeer's left antler. Right after, Zonka went full brute force, stabbed the reindeer's nape with the lovely assist staff, and twisted its neck once he got a good grip. Against Zonka, the reindeer didn't stand a chance. And this wasn't even the Zonka we know now, as this was the trainee version of him, way weaker than he is today. If there was one good thing the reindeer managed to do before getting wrecked, it was to give Zonka a big enough win to earn some sweet praise from Injin. Of course, even though a cleaner could handle it easily, just seeing a reindeer pop up in the north ward was enough to send out a danger trash beast alert and scare the regular folks. Gigafrog. This trash beast didn't get much screen time, so before we talk about it, let me give you a bit of a backstory. You see, after seeing the reindeer incident, Fellow made up his mind to visit his friend, Alan. When he got there, he found out Alan had pretty much given up on life. Alan ended up passing on his dream of becoming a giver and a cleaner to Fellow, and even gave him the old hammer he once found in the polluted zone. After getting the hammer, Fellow ran out of Alan's room as fast as he could. He rushed over to Gris, Injin, and Zonka, who just happened to be in their town, and asked them to let him join the cleaners. Time went by, and Fellow got his wish. He trained and studied hard, and became a supporter. On one of his early missions, he found himself helping the cleaners fight a giant trash beast that looked like a frog. The Gigafrog was a monster, just judging by its huge size. But when we saw it, its left arm had already been cut off by some random cleaner. Since the fight happened off-screen, we can only guess how strong the Gigafrog really was. But can he beat Goku though? This trash beast lives in Clutless Town, inside the abandoned city of Genia in the East Ward. The serpent is huge. Its head alone might be half the size of a real high-rise building. Just picture one of those multi-floor buildings. Clutless Town has a bunch of them, though they're all abandoned and falling apart. The serpent went up against Zonka, but even with its size and power, it couldn't do much to hurt him. It smashed into one of the buildings and let out a loud roar until it couldn't shriek anymore. What's more, Zonka was the only one who took the serpent down, all by himself. King of Tori. And so, a tough opponent has shown up. This battle will be legendary. The King of Tori is a trash beast found in the jungled no man's land. This monster is so powerful that it seems like it wiped out every other trash beast in the area. There's nothing else left but this beast, and that's for a reason. Even Injin felt the need to stay careful and move quietly while on their mission to catch Kuro. Tori is one of the weirdest forbidden zones on the ground because instead of trash, the place is filled with plants. Plants that have adapted to survive in this environment. Since it's a boss-level trash beast in a no man's land, the King of Tori reacts to any sound or movement, whether it's human or another trash beast. Just like the eyeless trash beasts we talked about earlier. It'll even go after a small piece of wood or a pebble, if it hears or senses it nearby. Once the King of Tori picks it up, it reacts right away. This monster can catch even the tiniest sound. It even spotted Kuro while he was hiding. The King of Tori has 4 arms that looks like ancient roots. Its body is usually covered in a white veil that hides its face, if it even has one. And it's way bigger than a group of humans put together. But it's still no bigger than the Defective Watchman Trash Beast. What makes this beast really special is that it's the first humanoid trash beast Rudo has ever met. Its limbs can get sliced up by the Ripper. Ryo even thought she cut off its head once, but that was a huge mistake. In the first place, the King of Tori doesn't even have a head, even though it has 3 eyes. Its whole body is more like a costume, kinda like hair, while its real body is hiding inside the pond of Tori. This means no matter how much they chop it up, the King of Tori can always put itself back together. They need burst damage to take down the main body to beat it. Because of that, Injin's Unbreaker and Ryo's the Ripper won't be enough. On top of that, the King of Tori is way smarter than most trash beasts seen so far. One time, it pretended to be knocked out by Ryo, then grabbed her by surprise and took her out of the fight. It's believed that the reason there are no other trash beasts in Tori is because the King of Tori is guarding something in its area. That something is said to be the box once owned by Canis Surbrick, Rudo's ancestor. Stealing that box from the King of Tori was one of Kuro's goals. The strange part is, even after Kuro stole the box and gave it to Rudo, the King of Tori didn't react at all. So maybe what it's guarding is something else entirely. Later on, Rudo used 3R to open that box and turn it into a vital instrument that ended up eating the King of Tori whole. The 3R box pulled out the King of Tori's real body and devoured it with bite after bite. The box holds Canis Cerebric's last will and testament for his descendants. As for what's written inside, we broke that down in our video about every god tier giver in Gachiakuta. Check it out after this one if you want the full story. Abandoned House. This monster is one of the rare trash beasts with more smarts than usual. Instead of charging in, it sent its underlings to attack the villagers and fight Rudo and the squad. At first glance, this trash beast seems like a small hut. Nothing special. But when you go inside, you'll see it's not really made of straw like it looks on the outside. It's actually made of wood. The inside looks worn down, like no one has lived there for a long time. On the floor, there's a big, strange hole, and if you glance up after looking down, you'll notice the house starts moving like it has a mouth. Folo was the one who figured out the abandoned house's real form. Once it got exposed, the trash beast used its dust balls to transform. In its transformed state, the abandoned house can blast out its own version of a hyper beam, packing enough power to destroy one of Rudo's weapons. It also grows 4 limbs, a pair of eyes, a mouth, and sheds all its straw. This trash beast can throw furniture like sofas and random wood at its targets, or chase at them full speed and bite when it catches up. It'll attack anything in sight and even try to bulldoze enemies off a cliff, though it's not smart enough to know that crashing into stuff will hurt itself too. It can also shoot flames from its chimney and cover its whole body in fire before going berserk and attacking its enemies. To take this trash beast down, Rudo unlocked a hidden power in his 3R, which helped Folo awaken as a giver. With his new vital instrument, Folo blocked the abandoned house's bigger and stronger beam. By taking the hit, Folo built up the damage, sent it right back, and blew up the trash beast with one powerful hammer smash. Also, we've been hyping up Rudo's Watchman gloves a lot, so if you want to see everything they can really do, including that mysterious power, we broke it all down in our video about Rudo's god tier 3R weapons. Check it out after this one. Just remember, the abandoned house is the main body of the 2 deadly trash beasts we're going to talk about next. Dust Trash Beasts. These floating black balls come from the abandoned house, and there are a crazy number of them. The outbreak of the Dust Trash Beast started in Kremos village. They sneak into people's mouths and try to suffocate and destroy them from the inside. This forced the villagers to leave and build a temporary shelter at the edge of a cliff, right next to a polluted zone. These trash beasts are dangerous if you're not wearing a mask. But for cleaners who always wear masks with their battle suits, they're no problem at all. Regular attacks with non-vital instruments will break them into powder. They won't fight back after that, but they'll just form into balls again later. Rudo's 3R net and Tansi's Tokushin work super well against these little monsters. Rudo goes in first, cutting a path open, and when the dust trash beasts gather and turn into one big ball monster, Rudo catches it with his net, which wipes them out. After that, when their ranks are broken, Tansi finishes off the leftovers. But the dusts always come back, and in greater numbers. As long as Rudo and the squad don't take out the main body, the abandoned house, this cycle will just keep repeating. Dust Pigs. Temporary fan-made name, 3 Little Pigs, is the second set of monsters the abandoned house sent to fight the cleaners. To be clear, there aren't actually 3 of them, and they're nothing like the fairy tale pigs. But for fun, we're calling them this thanks to this legendary comment. The Dust Pigs look like pig-shaped monsters that walk and move like humans. Their eyes are just like the Dust Trash Beasts, and their bodies are made of a bunch of dust balls. The first Dust Pig wears farmer's clothes. It uses clothes like armor and carries a long garden fork as a weapon. These clothes make the 3R net and Tokushin useless. To beat this first Dust Pig, Rudo used 3R on a blow dryer, blasted the pig with it, and then collected the dust balls in its body with the net to finish it off. But the second Dust Pig was way worse. It was smarter, faster, and ready to deal with both the net and the blow dryer. This one fought with a saw and moved so fast it got behind Rudo in a flash. It even went straight for the blow dryer, knowing it was a threat. It sliced through Tokushin's attacks and dodged the blow dryer's wind like it was nothing. But it couldn't dodge forever. Rudo finally blasted it with the blow dryer and sent it packing. The thing is, the main body would have just sent out another Dust Pig, stronger and even more ready to counter the cleaner's moves. Luckily, Folo figured out that the abandoned house was the main body, so there was no third Dust Pig. As of making this video, these are all the latest trash beasts we've seen in the series. But since we haven't explored all the no man's lands in the ground yet, I'm sure even stronger trash beasts will show up later. Ones that could be scarier than the King of Tori. If you want to dig deeper into the world of Gachiakuta and its craziest mysteries, this next video is where you go.